For today's Grimm adventure, we find ourselves in Beverly Hills, California, walking through the Chauvet Christmas tree lot with 5 days away from Christmas itself.
They smell so good.
Now, baby girl, it's no secret. Christmas is not one of our biggest holidays. We're more Halloween people.
This is true.
But I'm a little sad that we don't have a Christmas tree this year.
Yeah.
Which is okay, because today's video is about a Christmas tree and a horror legend, a horror icon that dates back to 1970. Well, a photograph that was taken back in 1970 here in Beverly Hills. Now, here's the fun thing about Christmas tree lots. Every year they pop up in your local community, and then when Christmas is over, they end up disappearing. And then you're lucky if you see them again in the same exact spot next year. Now, here is how this is going to work. Basically, in 1970, Vincent Price was living here in Beverly Hills. And him and his daughter, Victoria Price, went Christmas tree shopping at a Christmas tree lot in Beverly Hills. And there are 2 photos that was taken that day of them shopping for the perfect Christmas tree. We're gonna find the exact location that photo was taken. To be completely honest, we've already done the legwork. We spent an entire day driving through Beverly Hills trying to find this exact location, and we did. Now, this was a big feat, and here's why. We already know that Christmas tree lots change every year. Sometimes they're there, sometimes they're only there for 1 year. And in a land like Los Angeles and Beverly Hills, where things are constantly getting built up and torn down, and built up and torn down, how on earth were we able to find where this small Christmas tree lot was in 1970, where Vincent Price and his daughter Victoria had their photo taken?
Wherever I come, bad luck just comes my way. Wherever I go, hard luck is that it stays. Good luck never stays a day. Bad luck's always coming my way.
Right now we're standing on top of a parking garage in Beverly Hills at the corner of Wilshire and Brockton Boulevard. And about the center of your screen, you see that building right there? That is Barrington Plaza, the building that can be seen in the photos. Now this should give you a really good idea of how things have changed, how the skyline has been built up over time. Then all this over here, this is the labyrinth of streets that Jessica and I drove, spent an entire day driving, trying to find the vantage point the photo was taken from. Now, like I said, we already did this. You see that McDonald's right there? That is where the Christmas tree lot was, where that photo was taken. And we can match it up. I can prove it. Baby girl, when you hear the name Vincent Price, people, for the most part, don't think of Christmas as their very first thing that pops into their head, aside from things like Edward Scissorhands, where he played the inventor. When you hear the name Vincent Price, what's the first thing you think of?
Ooh, movie-wise?
Anything.
Honestly, 2 things immediately come to mind.
All right.
And I think he's very famous for both, but I think he's more famous for another one, which would be doing the voice for Thriller. And movie-wise, though, my first memory of him is always going to be House on Haunted Hill.
I'm Vincent Price, and you're invited to my party in the house on Haunted Hill, where so far the ghosts have murdered only 7 people. So won't you come and make it 8.
Sadly, we've never had the opportunity of meeting Vincent Price, but recently, right over Halloween, we actually ran into Victoria Price in Sleepy Hollow, New York. One of our last trips to New England, we were actually doing wedding photos inside the Sleepy Hollow Cemetery, and we were getting everything ready. We got dressed, we were getting the camera all ready, and this woman comes up to us, and she's wearing a baseball cap and sunglasses, and she comes right up to us, and she stops, and she says, "You guys like horror movies?" And we're trying to get the perfect shot. We have like a limited amount of time there. We're battling the sun as well as people coming by, because after all, it is Halloween in Sleepy Hollow. And very quickly I say, "Yeah, we love horror movies." And then I go back to trying to get the shot, and she goes, "No, but do you like horror movies?" And I was like, "Yes, we love horror movies." And then she says, "Do you love old or new horror movies?" And I was like, "Man, I just want to get these photos done." And I turned to her and I'm like, "Well, I like them both really, but old horror movies." And she goes, "Do you like Vincent Price?" She keeps asking all these questions. She goes, "Do you like Vincent Price?" I was like, "Of course I love Vincent Price." And she goes, "Well, he was my dad." And it was Victoria Price in the middle of Sleepy Hollow Cemetery. She comes up to us asking if we love horror movies.
Let me paint the picture a little more. So we're standing on the bridge in Sleepy Hollow. I am in a full ball gown wedding dress. He is in a tux. People are coming by with their cameras. Everyone wants pictures of us. We run into other YouTubers who are wanting to get collaborations done, and everything was happening all at once. And she was just this sweet lady who came up and she was like, "Hi."
Do you love horror movies?
Do you love horror movies? Okay, we stood out a little bit, I guess.
It's kind of like with the movie Scream. What's your favorite scary movie, right?
What's your favorite scary
movie? It was very nice. We had a nice little conversation. It turns out we're actually working on a project that should be coming, let's say, happening, completion next year. But it was pretty neat. It was a nice little like, hey, this is a little horror memory while we're taking wedding photos. And here we are talking about her and her dad during Christmas. Taking the elevator down to the first floor, we're gonna go across the street and line up the shot. What was that noise?
Elevators are always kind of spooky.
Right?
Yeah. Especially dim lit elevators. That makes me
Very gentle and let nothing you dismay. Remember Christ our Savior was born on Christmas Day. Who saved us from Satan and we were on the stay. Oh, tidings of comfort and joy.
All right, so let's see what we can line up the shot. Now, one of the things that makes finding this exact location really hard is because the skyline has changed so much. And of course, this McDonald's wasn't here, but right where this is, where the drive-thru is, where this building, this is where the Christmas tree lot was. In fact, pretty much right where Jessica is standing is where Vincent Price and Victoria Price had their photo taken. Now we know this because from right about here, you see that building that's in the background? There's a window on it. That building can be seen in the photos that were taken of them. That building is still here. So let's walk back here and get a closer look so you guys can see what I'm talking about. Right on the other side of this wall is the McDonald's. So we're standing pretty much in the alleyway. That white building right there is the laundromat that can be seen in the photos. It said free dry, open 24 hours on the side of it. And then this apartment building, that window right there, that's the one that can be seen on the right-hand side of the picture.
From
have no clue who lives in that apartment. But whoever you are, you're in a Vincent Price photograph. Now I know it's just a photograph, but to us, it's pretty freaking cool. Just walking history, especially in a place that Vincent Price and his daughter Victoria were standing this time of year, buying a Christmas tree, and it's just a couple days away from Christmas right now. Now, if you're a fan of the channel, obviously we love visiting filming locations and true crime spots and famous graves. But one of my all-time favorite things to do is to take a picture, a snapshot in time, and try to recreate it, or at least visit it. So to me, this is amazing. Aside from that window, it's really hard to pinpoint where this was. That's why it was so hard to find it that day. There's a lot of buildings, the skyline has changed, so you really can't see that building standing on the road anymore. You have to go to the top of a parking garage. But the fact that we found it,
yeah,
blows my mind.
Never thought we'd find it, to be honest.
Even though the Christmas tree lot is no longer here, and today it's now a McDonald's, at least the building that was the laundromat is still here. It's no longer functional, but the wall where it had the advertisements on it, that's it right there. And if you look closely at the photograph, there are lights on top of that building. Those are gone too. And with that being said, thank you for joining us on another Grimm adventure, this time telling the story of Vincent Price and his daughter Victoria, a photograph that was taken of them shopping for a Christmas tree right here in this very spot. Till next time, happy Halloween and happy holidays. I think this is like the only time that we're ever going to say something like that.
Happy holidays!
Happy Halloween.
Wherever I come, bad luck just comes my way. Wherever I go, hard luck is there to stay. Good luck never stays a day. Bad luck's always coming my way.